Hi, I'm Jeremy Crosby.
And I'm Nick Boucher. We're the hosts for the program that's all about your city, Talking Fitchburg.
Every day, we pull together the news, events, and information you need to stay on top of what's happening in the city of Fitchburg.
Find Talking Fitchburg on cable TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and our live stream on the web. Plus, you can view all our headlines and stories on Facebook, YouTube, and our video on demand service. This is your city.
Keep up with Talking Fitchburg and the issues that affect you and your neighbors.
Want to know what's happening in your city? Get Notify Me messages from the City of Fitchburg. Visit fitchburgwi.gov on your computer or mobile device and select the big Notify Me button on the left. Enter your email and/or phone number, whichever is best for you to get notifications. Scroll down the list and select all the topics you're interested in to receive email or text messages about. You'll be notified every time one of your topics is updated. Sign up for Notify Me, one more way to keep up with your Fitchburg government.
Fine. Good evening, everyone, to the Plan Commission meeting for January 21st, 2025. We are called to the order to the meeting at 6:32. The first thing on the agenda is approval of the minute.
I move approval.
Second.
Any question, comments? Here none. All those in favor of approving the minute from December 17, 2024 instead of 2025 meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Next, item 3, public appearances for non-agenda items, and we have someone in the audience that wants to speak. Is what is? Oh, here. David Haight. David, you have 3 minutes.
So surprise, surprise, I'm going to talk yet more about the issue of the comprehensive plan. So one of the things that no one here has addressed in any level of detail, and neither has any of the opinions that have been presented by any of the attorneys, although the opinion that is from the LWM attorney specifically says, importantly, it says that the comprehensive plan is not by itself a regulation. What does that mean? A regulation is the most generic term for something that has the force of law. Nothing in the comprehensive plan has the force of law. The way it gets its force with regard to the actual land use planning is from the statute promulgated by the state that says it must be compatible with certain land use decisions by the city. But, so, if, for example, the minor amendment procedure has a list of things it does, prevents you guys from doing any planning, from you making your own amendments based on studies, land use, other things. It prevents you from doing that. It empowers 3 alders who have no individual power to be the gatekeepers. Where does the regulatory authority for that come from? Where is the ordinance? Where is the resolution? Those are, by our Supreme Court in the state of Wisconsin, those are the only 2 methods by which the Common Council may issue a legislative act. Show me where the ordinance is that adopts the language in a separate ordinance document for the minor amendment procedure. It can't even be the rules of your own procedure if it's not a regulation. There are no regulations that have been adopted by the city with regard to any of this comprehensive planning stuff. And nothing that you could do can make what is in the comprehensive plan, if it's only in the comprehensive plan, a regulation. It has to be brought out, put in a separate document, and adopted as an ordinance by the city of Fitchburg. Right now, there are no regulations. There's no regulations that are required, for example, for public input. There's no regulation that says that this plan commission must adhere to those minor amendment procedures. You have the ability right now. There's nothing you have to overcome. There's no ordinance standing in your way. And the mayor has the obligation. Her job is to take care to see that the laws of the city, of the state, and of the country are obeyed. There is no law that allows this procedure to be implemented by the Plan Commission. It is now up to the mayor to make sure that the law is followed, which is the statutory law that assigns the power to the Plan Commission. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. So next we move to agenda review. Any comments? No? So then we move to the agenda items. We are going to start with item A. I'm going to open the public hearing and consideration of rezone RZ-2578-25, request by Edward J. Cody to rezone property from AX, this exclusive agriculture, to RR, rural residential, to allow for a rural residence located on off Bosher Road. Okay, so do we have here? Oh, only Ed Cody's only wish to answer question? Okay. Okay, I imagine he's in support of this one. Okay. Any other ones? No? Okay. You don't want to talk? No? Okay, fine. Diana.
Okay. So we'll go ahead and just close that public hearing.
Oh, I am closing the public hearing.
And I'll provide the staff comments from the memo. So Plan Commission has reviewed this and approved a minor comp plan amendment for this parcel last year in 2024. What we did, this Plan Commission and then also Council approved to change the future land use from agriculture to rural residential. The next step in the process of this lot is to change from the agricultural zoning, AX, to rural residential zoning. This will allow the property owner to sell the property or actually build a single-family residence on this property. The property is located off of Borchard Road between two existing rural residential lots. Staff does recommend that the requirements of the rural residential development criteria will apply where applicable. So the particular ones where rural residential should apply here is compatibility with adjacent farm operations, environmentally sensitive areas, protection of woodland cover where possible, and then protection of heritage trees where possible. The other applicable ones for this particular project of the rural residential criteria, the ones that may apply but also may be waived, is a history of tillage, residential infill, and then erosion potential. So staff does recommend approval of this rezone with the 10 conditions, and I am happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any question, comments? No? Okay.
Was this seen at Ag and Rural today?
Excuse me?
Was this seen at Ag and Rural?
Oh, yes, of course.
Okay.
Yes, and it did go to Ag and Rural this evening, and they approved.
Great, thank you. I didn't know if Shelley wanted to.
Yeah, I should have mentioned that.
Okay.
I move to approve rezone request RZ-2578-25 with the 10 conditions noted by staff.
Second.
All those in favor of approving the rezone, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Thank you. So next we move to item B. This is a certified survey map CS-2576-25. It's a request by Sean O'Brien, agent from Green Tech Land Company, LLC, to obtain a certified survey map approval to create 4 parcels, including 2 buildable lots from one existing outlet in 9 Spring on property located off Haight Farm Road. Okay, so we have Lane Manning. He wishes to speak. Question? Okay. And then Justin Sampal. He also wishes to answer question. Okay. Okay, so let's go to the staff report.
You bet. So before you is a certified survey map off of Haight Farm Road.
Can you put that?
Yeah, I can.
Oh.
Did David Haight want to speak on that?
Oh, Dave, you want to speak in B2?
I can do it before or after.
You can come now, yes. Okay.
Scott, you want to give me then?
You're going to show that in this? Okay.
So the property certainly will discharge its stormwater runoff into Swan Creek and the surrounding wetlands that are there right by the property. I think 24.2 applies to this. And so 24.2 is general provisions, and number B5 is, it says no person shall divide any land, et cetera, without compliance with all requirements of this chapter, and with number 5 is the rules of the State Department of Natural Resources relating to wetlands, floodplains, and erosion control. So NR 103 applies universally to every wetland in the state of Wisconsin, mapped, unmapped, big, small, doesn't matter. There are mapped wetlands right behind this property. So what's required here is the conditions of approval need to be amended so that they include compliance with NR 103. It's as simple as that.
Can you repeat the last part that you said?
Compliance with the provisions of NR 103. Now, the thing about this is that the city cannot certify compliance. This has to be certified as part of the stormwater permit from the state, and they will do that. But this is a quasi-judicial proceeding, and for this particular item, what's required is State Department of Natural Resources rules. You need to enumerate all the applicable rules, and for each applicable rule, there has to be a finding by this body that there is evidence that it will be satisfied. So the way to get around having evidence right now, since I presume that they have not yet gotten approval from the DNR, is simply to make it a condition. Compliance with NR 103 is a condition of final approval. It's as simple as that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Diana, your report.
This is an existing site off of Haight Farm Road, north side of Haight Farm Road, just to the east of the roundabout with Lacey and Haight Farm Road. What is proposed is a subdivision of 4 lots, 2 of which are buildable. The developer is proposing, and it's not part of this package. This is a smart code development, but I can show you what is in general is what is being proposed. There's actually 2 buildings on the 2 buildable lots. The building A to the west would be an 18-unit building with underground parking, and then building B would be 6 units with individual garages. So I just wanted to share that with you. Because this is a smart code development, you all won't see this as ADR, but I just thought it might be helpful to see what is proposed.
Okay.
So staff does recommend approval with the 18 conditions.
Okay, thank you. Any question, comments? Gabriel?
Can you just talk about where we are in the process and at what point we do stormwater analysis?
Yeah, we don't generally have all the stormwater looked at this particular point in the CSM. Traditionally, staff has not. included a condition with compliance with NR 103. Certainly not opposed to it, but in the process of getting a building permit anywheres in Dane County, including in the city of Fitchburg, compliance with NR 103 has to be met.
Can you explain what is that again?
Don't know entirely. It's not really in my wheelhouse, but has to do with...
Wetland water quality standards.
Thank you.
But this is going to be part of the item, the bullet 15, erosion and control and stormwater management permit is required. They're going to look at that.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. In order to extend sanitary sewer, they'll have to have a 208 letter from CARP-C.
Okay.
There is a process for addressing this.
Okay, no, I want to be sure. Okay.
And just to be clear, there's multiple conditions related to stormwater as part of this approval. I believe, looks like condition 15, 16, 17 have to do with stormwater and wetlands.
Okay. Okay. Any other question, comments? No? Okay, all those in favor of the...
I need I'll move
yeah,
approval of certified survey map CS 257625.
Second.
Oh, sorry, with the 18 conditions.
Okay, thank you.
Reseconded.
So here, none additional question. All those in favor of the certified survey map, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Thank you. Thank you for coming. So next we move to item C, and this is a certified survey map CS-2577-25, request by Peter Osman, agent from John D. Girl Living Trust, to approve a certified survey map to divide Lot 1, existing lot, into 2 lots on property associated with 5693 Wilshire Drive. So John is here. He wishes to speak. Do you want to tell us what you are planning to do, John?
Wanted to divide it into the 2 properties with the 0 lot line.
Okay.
And it seems that it meets all the conditions that I think it has to be a 35% or less coverage of property on each lot. And one of them's at 27.8 and the other one's at 21.6% of the lot. And so I'm trying to separate it.
Okay.
And had it for 30 years. And we uploaded the agreement, the maintenance agreement, and I think it'd be good creating some good affordable housing.
Okay. Thank you. Diana?
Yeah, so this is an existing duplex. The zoning is medium density residential. And as John mentioned, the intention here is to subdivide this existing parcel into 2 0 lot lines. We don't do a lot of these. They come up once in a while here. And so there are a couple of things that staff looks for. John mentioned the maintenance agreement, which we have a copy that we've taken a look at. There needs to be an 8-foot maintenance easement shown on the CSM, so we'll have to work with John and his surveyor to make sure that there is an 8-foot maintenance easement on either shown on the CSM with 4 feet on each side of the 0 lot line. Dwelling unit needs the dwelling wall abutting the 0 lot line needs to be a minimum 1-hour firewall, and then the new properties need to meet the dimensional standards. And fortunately, this does meet the dimensional standards. Staff has verified that we have a draft of the maintenance agreement, and so staff does recommend approval with the 9 conditions.
Okay, thank you. Any question, comment? Gabriel?
Just trying to clarify, like, this all seems great. Just what is the reason for the splitting into 2 properties? Is it for sale for 2 separate?
I'm going to be sold as 2 separate properties.
Okay.
I'm tired of being a landlord.
Oh, got it. So right
And
now
I
it's a
still live on
rental.
the one side, and I have a place up north too, so I'm going back and forth, and I have 3 daughters that are living there going to UW-Madison, so.
Great.
And it's hard to have them try to manage the rental property when I'm not there, so.
So with it being the 2 zero-lot line homes, you can sell them as
I can
two
sell the
individual
one side
homes.
off and still own my home that I've lived in for 30 years, so.
Great. Oh, wonderful.
So.
Thank you for the clarification.
Okay, any other comments, question? Okay.
I'll move approval of certified survey map CS 2577-25
Second.
with the 9 conditions.
Thank you. All those in favor of the certified survey map, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Okay, thank you. Thank you for coming, John. Okay, next we move to D. This one is an ADR for Noble Night Games expansion. It's a request by Jeff Davis, agent from Leader Enterprises LLC, to obtain an architectural design review approval for a proposed expansion to the existing commercial building on property associated with 2835 Commerce Park Drive. So, do we have anyone? Yeah, we have here.
We have Dan and then Jeff Davis.
We have Jeff Davis. He wishes to speak. And then Dan Leader. Yes. I don't know. You want to come and tell us what you're planning to do, guys?
Hello there.
Hi.
So I'm Dan from Noble Night Games. We're looking to put a warehouse expansion on the back of our building, just for additional warehouse storage. So we're out of space currently, so need the extra storage space. So it'll be a 2-level racking system that'll go in there, and we'll provide those details as we get the racking layout finalized.
Okay. Anything else with it? Okay.
I don't think so. It all matches the existing building, so there's not all the siding and windows and everything matches the existing building, and it's on the back of the building. So.
Okay. Diana.
Okay, so this is Noble Night Games on Commerce Park Drive. The proposed expansion is approximately 19,000 square feet to the rear, and that's what you can see on the plans here, to the rear and to the west side of the existing building. Dan already mentioned it's for increased inventory storage. And the proposed expansion does conform to our setbacks and our impervious surface ratios. There's no additional landscape proposed with this particular project. The site has existing landscaping already. 2 bikes racks are already located on site. There's no new utility equipment or dumpsters, and 1 proposed exterior light fixture on the north side of the expansion is shown, but otherwise it's pretty straightforward. As Dan mentioned, the materials will be the same as the existing building. So staff recommends approval with 10 conditions.
Okay, thank you. Any question, comments? No? Okay.
Just happy to hear you need more warehouse space. That's great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
I'll move for approval of ADR for Noble Night Games with the 10 conditions noted by staff.
Second.
All those in favor of approving the ADR, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Okay, thank you. Okay, next one is item E, is another ADR from Jamestown Chase Bank. This is a request by Jennifer Santos, agent for Wingrove Real Estate LLC, to obtain architectural design review approval for a proposed Chase Bank in the Jamestown Quarry neighborhood on property located off McKee Road. Okay, we have a couple of people online that they are also to answer any question if we have. Diana, can you tell us what it is?
Kind of get, at least here's the landscape plan. So this is our first of the 4 commercial sites in Jamestown. You might recall at the corner of Fitch Road and McKee, So this is our first one, and the Chase Bank is located at that hard corner of McKee and Fitchrona. So this drawing's probably a little bit messy, but this is the landscape plan. You can see the parking to the rear, and the building is up here at the hard corner. The property is currently zoned PDD SIP, as you might recall. Last year we did the final plat. We did the CDP for Jamestown and also the 2 rezones. The proposal is for approximately a 3,500 square foot building, 1 story with a drive-through ATMs. There's approximately 26 parking stalls proposed, as well as 4 bike parking stalls. Staff recognizes that this particular site was designated in the Anton Drive redevelopment plan as a hold corner. And so what that means in our planning world is just that we're looking to have a certain prominence here at the corner. So to hold that corner with an architectural feature. So that's been very important as staff has been working with the applicants to work through the look and the feel of the building. Staff did suggest a good example for you all too of a hold corner is the UW Credit Union. That is right there on the corner of McKee. Has that kind of prominence in terms of the building design. The staff did request, and we did see an improved building cornice, so that's kind of that top line. And then happy to take any questions or concerns from the Plan Commission. The proposal details some of the consistent building materials that staff was looking for in terms of a limestone colored foundation, trying to keep kind of a theme of the limestone as part of the old quarry here. So we've been trying to work that through. There is a significant amount of glazing on the facade. Applicants are proposing full cutoff fixtures. Despite the auto-orientation of this development, staff did work to make sure that there's pedestrian connectivity, and let me see if I can find a better site plan. So there's pedestrian connectivity straight out to McKee. So McKee is on this side of this drawing, and then there's a walkway out to Fitchrona. So one of the things as we've been working through as staff with the development of these 4 sites is making sure that we have that pedestrian connectivity. And I guess that's all. There is an extremely long list of conditions in this case. And I do want to just kind of mention part of that is we are still working through the finalization of the plat yet. And so there's some extra conditions in this approval to address the fact that we do not have a recorded plat at this particular point. So happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Yeah, I have a question. Can you tell me how this is going to look from McKee? If I am driving McKee, what are you going to see?
Great question. So this is the east elevation, so this faces Fitchrona.
Okay.
And this is the south elevation, so that faces McKee.
So, okay, that one is going to face McKee?
Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm.
And where is you say that it has to have like a presence there. Where is that?
I think I'll let maybe the architectural team address.
Who are they? Oh, we have Teron Wright, Chris Dawson, and Henry Megacher.
Oh, no. I don't know if someone wants
Someone is there. Okay, yeah. So who is going to go first?
Okay. This is Henry Amagache. I'm the project manager on this project for TAP. and we represent Chase on this. If you look on the far right for the south elevation for the Maki Road massing, it's a curtain wall with ACM panels. So that's more like the highlight feature of the facility. If you look further to the left of it, you do have your windows with sunshades. That creates a kind of depth within the facility. We do have the stone on the lower end, which is about 2 feet tall, and then we have the rose blend brick. And so we have various elements or materials that displays the beauty of this retail bank. And so the main feature is on the right side, the extreme right side, and that's the curtain wall, ACM with the all glass, and then you have a lot of other glass fenestration that highlights and punches out this building.
Thank you. Another question that, because we have 3 ADR coming together for the same location, my question is, are they going to use the same material and style, so everything is going to look kind of, homogeneous, or is going to be more like every building is going to have their own,
Yes.
features? I want to,
Staff has really been working with the various applicants to at least incorporate that limestone material.
Okay.
As a theme, the prominent cornice. We're trying.
Okay.
So staff agrees that this is sort of, when you think about a hold corner, this meets that criteria, or is there something that's missing from this design?
Staff would have preferred a more prominent height feature on this corner.
In which corner?
This right here.
That one is a corner. Oh, okay.
That is the whole corner.
Oh.
So for the architects, why was it not possible to have a more prominent
and use height
on that corner?
It's all related to the kind of massing that we're looking at. Normally, we and this is a prototypical building. Normally, we don't go much higher than the 2 courses of the ACM that you see. It's normally just a single one, which is about 2 feet. In this case, we've tried to raise the prominence of it by making it about a 4 foot high after the glass. And so it has dual properties here, both at day and at night. Daytime, you will see this ACM with all that curtain wall. At night, we do have light features, kind of like a blue light within it. And so you will see, and that's a chase kind of blue, a chase blue, pretty much, which you will see beyond the glass feature. And so we don't really want to pull it too high up there. This is about the massing effect that we're able to create with this. At that corner, please.
Shelley.
So how does this compare to the UW Credit Union?
It's a good question. I can show.
And also, I'm curious how the height of this compares to the forgot what building is next to it, is going to be next to it.
Next to it will be the Chick-fil-A, and they're all going to be about the same height.
So
there's a minimum height. They have to have at least 20 feet, and they're all sticking right about at the 20 feet.
And is a hold corner building usually higher than the buildings around it?
Usually it has some sort of prominence. It can look different in different cases, but this is the UW Credit Union.
Much more prominent.
But to be fair, Pan, to your left then, is a Flying Dog Ale House, is that really a prominent, that's also on a corner, and look at that setback. I get where staff is going, and I've had this argument in past ADRs, because to me that's just as appealing and welcoming as a corner, as a driver or a walker, as what we're trying to get to for this, bigger massing in the corner. I'm fine either way. I get where we try to go with it, but that's right across the street, so it's not exactly going to be completely out of place if not this massive.
And the elevation on the other side is higher than this side, isn't it, too? The elevation on the north part is higher on, like in the south, isn't it?
There's a berm along the road that makes it appear higher, but I don't know if those berms are intended to stay.
This is going to come down.
Okay.
So the berm will come down.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of earth to move out here.
Okay.
But even the Flying Hound looks a lot higher, even though it's set back, but it's a lot higher, right?
I don't know the exact height, but
Okay.
it does have that higher feature.
If I can come in just 1 minute, our main tower areas are 24 foot 6 inches, and that's the niche that we have on the north elevation area. That's the prominence area of entrance for the facility, and that's on the north elevation.
Where is that one? The north. Oh, here.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
No,
here.
if you
Yeah,
go
that
up one, yes, please.
Yes, that one.
And so that's where we do have the 5x7 ash, which punches out with a canopy, about a 3-foot overhang canopy. You have the cluster window above it, and then we do have the storefront, and then you do have the exterior sunshades over that glass area. So again, trying to match some of the heights within the surrounding buildings, both with color, both with the height. I think that we've been able to try and follow as much as you've asked for Marquis and Fitchburg, this bank.
And I would like to add, this is Teron Wright from the Architects Partnership, working alongside Henry on this project. Regarding the hold corner, so Chase as a national bank has like a brand standard, like most national retailers. That brand standard was modified for this particular corner due to some of the SIP requirements. One thing to note in comparison to the two commercial properties across the street regarding the whole corner, as Henry mentioned, like the corner of McKee and Fitchburg is, from a programming perspective, is Chase's conference room. That conference room was highlighted that night, as Henry mentioned, with a blue LED that provides some visual interest as pedestrians and vehicular users are traversing that McKee right of way. And the ACM is kind of anchored in a taller massing format to help draw in that blue glow at night. All of the windows along the McKee and Fitchburg right of ways, they're all 10 feet. So we're emphasizing a lot of interior-exterior connectivity along both frontages. Additionally, from a safety perspective, from an ease of customer use, this entire development is very auto-oriented. So that's why our primary entrance is facing north. But from a programming perspective for the bank, we felt like what we put together was the best use to satisfy the requirements of the development and the uses and the needs of the bank. Not to mention, it's one thing to look at it like vertically and two-dimensionally from an elevation, but Deanna had the landscape plan up. The landscape plan is also another element that we're using to highlight that whole corner. Like there's a couple of ornamental trees that we have in some of the solid facing elements of the building. We have low shrubs throughout to keep that interior connectivity with the 10-foot tall windows around the perimeter. So just if you guys could take that into consideration, I know we don't have like the massive like full 2-story design element, but there are other things kind of factored into the design that we feel adds value to this corner in this retail shopping district.
Okay, thank you very much. Any more question, comment, Gabriel?
Regards to the blue light in the evening. Can you kind of speak to how bright that is? Because we have banks that have windows with lights shining out of them that are not very attractive nor welcome in the city. So just curious about what you mean by blue light shining out at night.
It's kind of hard to explain. I'll be very transparent with you. It's better if we provided a picture to maybe Deanna that she can share with staff.
That would be great.
It's not a strong light. It's a very small, like LED fixture that casts a blue light both along the Fitzroy and McKee right away.
But is this an interior light or is an exterior light?
It is an interior light.
Oh, it's gonna. Oh, like a park bank. Okay. Have you seen that?
No, staff was not aware of that.
Oh, I saw the. Yeah. Okay.
Where is the signage planned on the building? I don't see it on the drawings. Do we know?
Yeah, they haven't provided the signage plan.
Okay.
But I imagine that is going to be a sign on that.
There's a little black dotted line that shows where it would go.
There's going to be one on looking McKee and the other one on the other side, north. I am intrigued about this light because we already having some concern with another bank with some interior light. So I would like to see it. Do you have it in another building that we can look now? How, I am curious. So.
Yeah, they just did the Chase Bank on Fish Hatchery, so that's got to be the newest brand standards, right?
But he said there's an interior light coming out.
Right, but I'm saying that one should. I would think it would have it if you guys are at all familiar with.
Do they have it in that one?
Other locations.
Oh, no.
I just don't know if they have the window corner in the Fish Hatchery one.
We have one just completed at Wauwatosa. I don't know how far that is.
Yes, like an hour.
We can send photos to you. It's at about an hour. Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, can you send picture to the staff and then they can share with us?
We will send you some of the photos of that over to you.
Okay.
And then,
okay.
So how do we approve it now if the pictures aren't coming till later?
Well, we can.
I don't know that we can regulate interior lighting as part of this ADR approval anyway.
Yeah, I know.
That's not under the purview of an ADR.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, fair enough. You answered our questions. Okay, so any other question, comments?
So I'm sorry, but so when we talk about a hold corner, it's really just on the corner. It's not the building that's on the corner. It's just some mass at the physical corner itself. Is that right? I'm sorry, this is, I think, my first hold corner.
I think it can be, the building itself, too. It doesn't have to be just a portion of the building. It's the intention is that there is some level of prominence on that corner to say, hey, this is a strong corner, instead of just having a parking lot.
Okay, and
that
then
would be the opposite.
And then in looking at the south elevation view, so the Chick-fil-A building, the height of that would hit which part of this? I mean, about the equivalency of the Chick-fil-A height would be equivalent to where on this picture?
That's a good question.
Because it seems like that could all fade
right
together
about
then.
in here.
Where?
So right about, this is the 20-foot. So most of them are coming in right at that 20-foot. So Chase is going up a little bit higher, but that is their 20-foot top right down there. If you can see my cursor. That's your 20-foot.
So this does not seem much more prominent than what the building next to it will be.
Although I think you'll see more of it when you're coming from the east going west, coming up the hill. You're going to have a big detention pond at the corner, correct? So this is so the detention pond is actually the corner.
I know this
Isn't it?
is
Or it's
confusing.
kind of behind
I apologize.
it, I guess. But
There is a detention pond to the rear, so The building itself is right on the hard corner of McKee and Fitchburg. There is a detention pond on an outlet to the north of the building and the parking lot. Here's the proper.
Sorry, I had the orientation
I know,
goofed
I've
up.
got too many orientations here, but that's the proper orientation. With
So
north
it is
up.
right, it does address the corner.
Who's going to maintain that retention pond?
Private developer.
Okay.
That is not ours.
Okay, I want to.
Good question.
Okay, any other question, comment? Someone move it.
I'll move approval of the ADR for Jamestown Chase Bank.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor of the ADR, say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Nay.
We have one opposed. Thank you. The motion carries. Okay, so next we move to the next ADR. It's from the Jamestown.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Next,
so much.
we move to the.
Did I need to say the number of conditions?
I think we understood by
Yeah.
It was implicitly understood that there were 20 conditions outlined by staff as in the memo. Thank you.
So next we move to item F, is another ADR from the Jamestown McDonald's. Request by Dan Olson, agent from Winger Real Estate LLC, to obtain an architectural design review approval for a proposed McDonald's located in the Jamestown Quarry neighborhood on the property located off McKee Road. So we have also a couple of people online that they're only to answer questions. So, but we are going to with staff report.
Okay. I'm going to try to help orientate us. McDonald's is going to be the one farthest to the west.
Oh.
Then Car Wash, which you should see next month. Then Chick-fil-A, which has requested a delay until next month. And then we've had Chase. So McDonald's, Car Wash, Chick-fil-A, and Chase, just so that we can kind of get orientated a little bit. So this is our McDonald's. Maybe not the grading plan. This is probably a good place to start. So the private McKee will be out on front or on the bottom part of this drawing. Then there's a private drive. The Jamestown Way will be around on the other side. So this site is proposing the building, drive-through entrance coming through this way and then around. So very prominent in terms of the drive-through on this particular site. Let's see if I can find something that looks a little more clear. Here we go. Here's the landscape plan. The landscape plan is good, lots of trees, but you can kind of see the drive-through lanes and the parking areas. Dumpster is back in the top corner here. Same zoning plan development, PDD SIP. This is a roughly 3,900 square foot building with drive-through service, about 34 parking stalls. This property, of course, is not located on that whole corner as defined by the Anton Drive redevelopment plan. So the architecture and massing and form weren't as closely looked at, but still important. Staff's been working on that proposal too. Let's just go down and show you that. This is the architectural look. The buildings consist of a stacked stone foundation, a stone. Once again, we were trying to go for that limestone foundation with accent. Also, in this case, there's a dark primary facade, some black panel accents, metal accents. The applicants are proposing full cutoff fixtures. Staff has noted expectations regarding the fixture height and light trespass. They will need to submit a conditional use permit to allow for the menu signs. That is something that will be coming to you. Staff does have concerns. Sorry about flipping through all those plans, but staff does have concerns about the pedestrian access. There is a pedestrian walkway from the private street to the north, and you can kind of see that here, which is good. As I mentioned, staff was working hard to try to maintain that pedestrian connectivity. This site plan is not showing a pedestrian connectivity directly to the building from McKee Road. So the applicants have indicated to staff that they will work with the car wash that's right next door to create that pedestrian walkway that could access this way. There's concerns about accessing directly across the site because, of course, these are the drive-through lanes that you're seeing here and then just the exit turn lanes. So that's something that staff wants to continue to work with in terms of the car wash. And that ADR should come to you next month. And then also keeping that connectivity through the site, even from McKee Road. There is a bus stop right here that we are looking at doing some upgrades on that bus stop. So connectivity from McKee is going to be an important piece.
What is going to happen with that driveway there?
That goes away.
Okay, and what happened to people coming from that Madison? Because that one is Madison.
This is Madison, yes.
Coming and they want to go to the McDonald's. So they had to go all that loop and walk over there and get in. Why they cannot access the west side of the building?
In terms of walking?
Yeah, because those people coming from the east, they had to walk all around the building.
Well, yeah, they would have, in this case, they would need to walk. Chris, can you remind me, is there a sidewalk proposed along the private drive?
Yes, there is.
On this side, right?
Correct, yeah.
So they can access McDonald's from the west?
So they could walk down the sidewalk and then come across and come this way.
Oh, my Lord.
Well,
okay.
I mean, let's be realistic. You're walking down that sidewalk. By the time I get to the building, I'm going to cut across the street, and then you're in a parking lot like anyone else who just parked their car is. You're going to walk across a parking lot.
Well, no, I grew up in
right.
South America.
What I'm saying is I'm not looking for McDonald's to put a crosswalk straight up from the building west, because I get what you're saying, though. I agree that you have to have access from the west. I'm just saying that, where the arrows are, that's the parking lot. That like people walk across that without a little, private little walkway.
Okay, no, I get it.
I mean, I think people will use it. Like, there's no way that people are going to walk around the building. So, shouldn't we plan for a place for them to cross where it's like a planned crossing?
And where are they coming
That's
from?
what I'm saying, though. In the middle of that area there, let's look at right where the drive-through start. What are you looking for right there? That's not nobody puts a sidewalk in. That's a parking lot. That you park your car and you're walking across. I'm picturing you guys are looking for we're going to have a dedicated walking lane from the west, which we are from the north right now. That's already shown.
Is your
Not necessarily. I don't know what the solution is, but people will cross the parking lot and.
But I'm saying that's what you do every day in a parking lot. You walk through a parking lot. This isn't any different than if I park my car and then I walk from the car to the building.
Yeah, but there's in the winter, it's not just the parking lot. Right, there's going to be some sort of landscaping or curb that interrupts before you get into the parking lot that a pedestrian would have to cross over. And
Can you show where you're looking for something on the west? Can you show with the cursor? Because I'm I mean, people coming from the west, they're coming from the housing, which is what Julia was pointing out. There is such a grade change there that,
Yeah,
you know,
actually,
I mean, that's going to be
there
a
is
bigger
no
barrier.
sidewalk along this
Oh,
section.
yeah,
Correct.
true.
So there's
Yeah,
no
yeah, yeah.
sidewalk and there's a
Okay.
huge grade change. So I don't think people will be walking up from there.
I guess it's fine. I mean, like, I guess they don't have to put in pedestrian. I just, people are going to cross. People are not going to walk around.
Right.
So,
My
like,
biggest concern with people, with pedestrians in a parking lot is that layout is very similar to the McDonald's in Verona. And to try to get, they unfortunately have parking spaces at that bottom end. So if you took this exact plan and added a row of parking across the bottom, to try to cross across the traffic that's coming through the drive up is dangerous. It's not a good place to cross. So I agree with them that you don't need a cross through or a connection through to the south along there. But to the west, I guess the best place is going to be to cross up maybe, I don't know, 3/4 of the way up or 2/3 of the way up where that larger tree is. You know, are they just going to paint crosswalks so that people that are coming off the sidewalk have a place to cross within the traffic pattern? I mean, to me, that's what it's more about than trying to put a sidewalk somewhere. I mean, I don't understand.
I guess I don't know that, I think we want to be careful about mid-block crossing here. There is a sidewalk on this side, and I would just want to be careful about the mid-block crossing.
What is between the
Right.
sidewalk and the other stuff?
There's people are going to be coming around and flying to go west here, so, and there's going to be people coming through here.
Okay.
What is the larger white space? with
Between the
dotted
sidewalk
lines?
and the landscape. Isn't
Here?
it, that one?
No, here, right here. What is
Oh,
that?
that's the private drive. That's a private drive.
Oh, it's going to be a private
It's a
drive.
road,
Okay, and then the sidewalks to the
and the
west of
sidewalk
that.
will be
Oh,
right
okay.
here.
So you have to cross that private road and then hurdle the landscaping on the McDonald's.
Yeah, and
So,
I guess I
okay.
would just caution everyone to do a crossing somewheres in here mid-block. Right.
That goes directly
That's not a
into the
particularly
building.
safe thing to do.
No.
Can you show us how this building will look like from McKee?
We can, yep.
Which one is that one?
This one, right? Yeah.
Which one? That one?
Mm-hmm. This one right here.
Okay. Well, it's a drive-through, but it's kind of like
Similar to Chase, the building, the primary entrance is oriented to the north,
yeah.
where the parking area is. So this is the back side of the building pointed towards the south.
Oh, that one is the drive-through window.
This is the south. No, the east side will have the drive-through windows.
Oh, what is that other? What is the other window in the that one?
I don't know.
That's actually a crew room. This is Chris Stepp from McDonald's. That's the crew room in the back of the building. So there's typically a short window at the top.
Oh.
And then I think, Joe, correct me if I'm wrong, we're showing some additional spandrel glazing beneath that. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's a film. It's to allow more light in for the crew room.
and there's landscaping in front of this, like trees or.
Yes.
Yep, there's landscaping in here on that facade, and then they do have landscaping around the edges here too.
So we don't have like how it's going to really, really look like from McKee.
I do not have a
That's
perspective.
Okay. Okay, yes.
So, Deanna, you said that you're going to work with them, and they're going to work with the car wash for the sidewalk, some kind of walkway on the east. Is that then, would that be what condition number, where is it? The condition that talks about the feedback letter? refer to the updated
Which number?
11. I just want to make sure that that is captured in the conditions.
Oh,
That there's, if we require that there be the
okay.
walkway to the east or work towards a walkway.
Yeah, okay, you have number 17, a shared pedestrian connection shall be provided and approved by both McDonald's and the adjacent user to the east prior to occupancy permit. A pedestrian connection shall be provided. So number 17.
I didn't read. Okay, thank you.
No problem. There's like 20.
Do you know when they're going to start working on this?
No.
So what is next after this?
Well, we have to get the plat signed and recorded. Get the SIA signed and recorded, and then. Oh, what's that?
The infrastructure improvements.
Yeah, the infrastructure improvements. Thank you. It's getting late. Yep. And so there's, for example, the public road, the sewer and water lines all need to go in before we can issue a building permit here.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's just occurring to me how bad this is for pedestrians. Like, it's like really like that in and out. I know this was brought up in council a little bit, but now that I'm thinking about how this is going to function.
Well, if you bring up the map, I think it's just the isolation of this. It's geographically isolated from this when you're heading west.
But you've got a bus stop that lets off. And there's certainly people, I have to imagine, that even though there's not a sidewalk, like, I have to imagine that
there will be a sidewalk along here.
But it ends before the...
But there will not, but this is Madison, and so we can't make the property owners put sidewalk on Madison.
Yeah. So there's nothing just in that one stretch, or does it all the way down McKee from that point on, there's no sidewalk?
There is sidewalk down to this one. I have no knowledge of history or anything. Why?
If you see there's a fence that's right
there is, you can see there is
along
a
there,
fence
so
along there.
it's all fenced off with a privacy fence. And then I don't know what the grade of the hill is, but I know that it's a huge drop between that driveway that's going to go away and Manchester Road. That's the giant hill on the backside.
Yeah. It just seems like this is just really dangerous for pedestrians.
And actually, if you even pull out further, I mean, you'll notice that whole quarry area has no connectivity to any of the houses.
Yeah.
I mean, I think when you look at it in the context of what it is and what we're trying to do there, that's probably why we ended up with an auto-centric set of businesses up there, because it is not walkable. That land is not walkable from anywhere. It's not that we're creating something that's not walkable. We're dealing with something that's not walkable and trying to make it as walkable as we possibly can, or at least as bike-friendly as we can.
Yeah. I don't know. I worry about it. I don't want to.
It's part of the challenge of that entire development.
Yeah.
And the whole plan. And I think, it is what it is.
Yeah, I was going to say we're way too far down for that. So unless there's any opposition, I will say I would move to approve ADR for Jamestown McDonald's with the 20 conditions noted by staff.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor of the ADR for the McDonald's, say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Gabriela?
Nay.
Okay, so we have one nay and the rest. So the motion carries. Okay. So the next one, you said that we need to postpone?
Yes, if I could have a motion to postpone.
Thank you to the people from McDonald's that they are online for coming.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Okay, so next we move to we need to postpone, isn't it?
We need a motion for that.
We need a motion, yes.
I move to postpone the Chick-fil-A ADR to February 18th.
Second.
All those in favor of postponing, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed, the motion carries. Okay, next one is H. is an ordinance 2024-0-37 creating outdoor lighting regulation by creating Chapter 28 of the Fitchburg General Code of Ordinances. So, okay, so that one is the dark sky ordinance that is coming back to us, isn't it?
It is coming back to you. Yep.
Okay, can you explain why it's coming back?
Oh, yes. Plan Commission, as I recall, to my best of knowledge, had 4 different comments, questions. One was compliance with 1 and 2 family dwelling units. There was a comment regarding temporary lighting for emergency services. There was a request to clarify how the fine would be determined. And then how can we address that lights bill from Park Bank, which has already came up this evening. So as I recall, those were the 4 main comments, questions, considerations for staff. Staff did carefully consider including 1 and 2 family dwelling units. Staff recommends against including 1 and 2 family dwelling units, and I see Ben is here. Hi, Ben.
Hi, everyone.
And the reason that staff doesn't support that is that we just lack the staff time to review and enforce that. And just wanted to give you a kind of a roundabout numbers here. We are hopefully doing about 120 single-family duplexes per year now. And that would be on top of the existing approximately 6,500 dwelling units, single-family and duplex already in the city. In my opinion, having some single-family residences fall under and need to meet the requirements of the dark sky ordinance and other ones not is going to be very confusing to not only staff but the general public. So staff is recommending against including single family and duplexes under the requirements of this ordinance. Happy to talk about that further. We did address temporary lighting for emergency services. You will see that right here. Ben addressed that concern. And Ben also addressed sorry, Ben.
Sorry to interrupt, Deanna. I just wanted to clarify the new language there in red is actually regarding festivals. So temporary lighting for, something like concerts at McKee Park or a similar type of a temporary event. So the city already has established a permit for these types of events. It's called the Large Scale Festival Event Permit. So we've just added that lighting associated with those large scale, permitted large scale festival events would be also considered exempt lighting.
So what about Edgewood College when it comes with those lights for the field? Where is going to be covered that?
Sure. So that, since it would be, permanent light fixtures, it wouldn't be a temporary event. That's where the kind of special permit section falls into towards the bottom of the draft ordinance here. There's a protocol for those applicants that can show that it's, causing undue hardship or, for their specific use, they just can't comply with the lighting ordinance due to the type of lighting they need for their use. They do have an opportunity to basically get variance granted through this special permitting process where they would have to more or less state why they can't meet all the requirements in the ordinance and what they're doing to meet it to the maximum extent practicable. So essentially, if they can show that they're meeting the intent of the ordinance with, the best available technology, they can have that avenue open for them to get their light permitted.
I have another question for process. Suppose that in the future we have, we need to, there is a special permit. Who is in charge of approving the special permit? Plan Commission?
No, at this point, it would be the director, would be,
Oh, where is that?
which is me.
Oh. But I see this special permit like a conditional use permit.
That's not how it's defined
Well,
right
but
now.
this is how I see it. But
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, I have that it should, one of those special permits should come to Plan Commission. I don't know, that one is my personal opinion, but I don't know. I don't know how other municipalities are doing it. Do they have a special permit in the one that we review, Ben? Because
I would.
There were a couple of
I would have to look
municipalities.
back at their specific language to see if there's anything different with their process for kind of these special cases than what we have proposed here.
So something maybe to discuss in council. Sure. Gabriel. Okay.
I don't know if I have a strong opinion.
No? No, because the idea is that they should be on, I don't know, this is what I ask in the process. So this one is, the process is fine, but my expectation personally is that everyone should be in compliance. We shouldn't be providing special permits, that's it.
Do we have a sense of what else besides potentially Edgewood, like athletic field lights, would meet a special permit criteria? Like would the McKee tennis lights also be?
They're so dark sky.
I don't know. I just don't know enough about.
No,
maybe
future.
Edgewood would be dark sky too. I really don't know enough about the exact criteria.
Maybe it could be another soccer fields, private or.
Yeah, economic development director.
Yeah.
Mike Zimmerman, Economic Development Director. Hey, Ben, can you shed some light on the Zimbrick auto dealerships? Because that was one group that we sent this out to. So where do they fall in this ordinance and for their existing conditions and, let's say, future dealership modifications that they make? Thank you.
Sure. Excellent question. So if you look at section 28-7(3), outdoor merchandising and display lots, this outlines some separate requirements for those types of display lots, such as the Zimbricks of the world here. Of course, that's another kind of special case where it's not a parking lot for people, getting in and out of their apartment. It's, that's where they've got their merchandise. So there is a slightly different standard for those cases. This language that's in the ordinance is the language that's in the City of Madison ordinance for these outdoor merchandising and display lots. So a Zimbrick or another dealer that, has a large lot wouldn't require a special permitting, and would their lighting would be essentially permitted as long as it meets the standards outlined in that outdoor merchandising and display lot section.
Can you provide another example of outdoor merchandising beside a car dealership?
So the car dealership I think is the big one in Fitchburg. if someone had, I'm struggling to think of some other ideas other than a dealership, but potentially like a landscape company, maybe if they have an outdoor area where they've got plants on display, is another thought. There really aren't that many instances of it, but anything that's really using parking lot space, display merchandise would fall under this.
Oh, like a Home Depot, they have all the display outside.
Exactly.
Yeah. Supermarket. Some of them, they have that.
Yep.
Okay. Any other question, comments?
I have a question for Deanna. So for the ones that are the special exceptions, would that come up during the ADR when they're built? And that could be part of the ADR when it comes to Plan Commission?
Yeah.
Yes, I would imagine that's when we look at those lighting plans is through the ADR. So I would assume that they would bring that special exemption.
Like a special permit requirement.
Yeah, they would need a special
Right,
permit.
so we could maybe
like-
just tack it onto that process so that it doesn't create a whole separate process for that, maybe. Save some time.
I think that's reasonable. I don't know, Ben, what do you think?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay, Shelley.
So as the language regarding the special permit, we refer to manifest injustice. That is a huge term.
What?
And manifest injustice. They have to prove a manifest injustice to comply. That's a huge term. I don't see how anything is just or unjust regarding lighting. So I would suggest replacing that with the language we use for special exceptions for permitting new wells. And that is, what do we say? I think we use the term unreasonable hardship. So I think we'd be consistent with the code, and it would be just a more reasonable term.
Yeah, but which one?
Okay. I guess I'll just say that that specific language did come from our city attorney, so I would have to check it and see if there was a specific reason why that language was chosen versus undue hardship, which is, I recognize that is used elsewhere in the Code of Ordinances.
Yeah, I think it's in 3067, unreasonable hardship.
Yeah,
it's the new well permitting, which seems to
out.
be an equivalent kind of
What does it mean,
process.
manifest injustice? What is
Yeah.
What is that?
I'm out of my
Yeah, I think it means like so obviously unjust, but I don't know how you apply an element of justice to lighting. I think unreasonable hardship would be the preferred phrase.
Okay.
An outcome in a case that is plainly and obviously unjust acceptance of an involuntary guilty plea constitutes a manifest injustice.
What?
That's what Google says.
And then we keep our processes similar. I think there's an advantage to that.
Well, we can amend that, isn't it?
You can certainly make a motion to amend. And
Do you want to
we'll
do
have
it?
I will, but I have one other thing then.
Okay.
Because maybe it'll go in the motion. Sorry.
Yeah, maybe to Ben's point, though, if there's a motion to amend like that, it'd be pending the city attorney's opinion, something like that.
Okay. Remind me when I get to the motion. Under the temporary lighting, I think I brought this up last time. We have a definition for temporary lighting, but in the exemptions, we say temporary lighting used for emergency services. I don't know what emergency service is. I don't know what we intend that to cover, but can we just strike that and just refer to temporary lighting?
Well, temporary lighting used for emergency services. I believe the intent was that, say there's a house fire or a car accident at night, and the folks responding to that emergency need to light up the scene, either for safety or just to see what they're dealing with. That's kind of the thought for temporary lighting used in emergency services.
Okay, so you didn't want to just exempt temporary lighting. You want to make it even
I guess
a smaller use?
That was the thought.
I think keeping it more specific might be a good thing. I don't know what other temporary lighting could be, but
It's defined, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what it would apply for.
Define that as municipal.
Yeah.
I don't know, but like if it's up to 60 days, so.
In a year, so it could be sporadic.
Oh.
Yeah, there's water main issues in my neighborhood where they could probably use up all 60 days.
It just seems lighting for emergency services should be exempt, like any lighting.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, if they need it to fight a fire or to investigate an accident or rebuild water main or whatever it is, I mean, I think it's got to be something that they don't even have to think about. They just do it because it's in the public good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what we are,
So are you suggesting it should just be lighting for emergency services? Is that what I'm hearing
And just
you
get
say?
rid of the whole temporary thing.
We could give them a ticket at the 61st day if you want.
No.
What if it's just lighting required for emergency services?
Right.
yeah, that one is better.
So then what is temporary lighting? Not emergency services, but temporary lighting, what was that supposed to apply to?
Oh, yeah.
The type of lighting for which I think we've now addressed with the associated large-scale festival events. Lighting's kind of funny, I guess, in that anyone could, I suppose, come up with the reason why they're going to have lights for some reason. I mean, I would offer you could just amend the exempt lighting to say lighting used for emergency services, and just, I mean, potentially strip temporary lighting out of the definition section, as it wouldn't be referred. Temporary lighting wouldn't be referred to throughout the ordinance if that's removed.
Do we ever have construction sites that require lighting due to safety reasons on the construction sites?
That sounds like possible.
You mean public or private?
Private.
I don't know.
I mean, that might be another thing to think about.
I don't think it's very common for them to work at night. Certainly wouldn't be impossible.
I know the quarry works at night and they use lighting. That would be another thing that I could think of. I was just thinking if a large scale construction, if they've got a big hole in the ground and they have a fence, but they want to provide safety, is that another consideration? I mean, I think there's just a lot of different circumstances you could run into, so trying to make it super specific is just going to tangle people up.
Can we say temporary lighting?
Yeah, and I tend to agree with that. I think there's, an unlimited number of, what temporary lighting we could probably come up with a bunch more examples, which makes it difficult to get more specific language in there, and then you're forgetting other things, or something comes up that isn't specifically referenced. So that might be the benefit to just leaving it a little bit more general.
So we could leave temporary lighting, leave number 8, temporary lighting such as used for emergency services.
Well, I don't think so, because temporary lighting's limited to 60 days. And I think we didn't want the fire department or.
But any
police
individual
depart-
incident is less than 60 days, right? I would think of it as like a 60-day. Oh, I guess I see how we defined it.
I mean, I think perhaps we should have two exemptions. One is for emergency services, and one is temporary lighting.
I will add the fire department is covered under number 4.
Oh, yeah.
Would we want to say 60 continuous days?
What did you say? I didn't
60
hear you.
continuous days? Less than? I mean, obviously, then if somebody were a jerk, they could turn it off for one night and then turn it back on, but I mean, the intent would be, is the intent that we don't want somebody having something up for 60 days in a row, or is it just 60 days over the course of a year?
Yeah, I think it would probably make a lot of sense, I suppose, to have that be 60 continuous days. In my mind, the intent of this ordinance isn't to be going after lighting that's up for, a short period of time. To me, the intent is more to control light fixtures that are going to be installed and be there for a long time, rather than, going after, all these, potentially small scale lighting operations that are, very temporary. But I think it would make sense to say less than 60 consecutive days. Sure.
But I think it all depends with what was the original intent? I mean, what was this designed to capture? And I think that's what I'm struggling with understanding.
Sure. Well, I think, I would offer that temporary lighting could be defined as less than 60 consecutive days, and then anything that's less than 60 consecutive days could go under the exempt list, and just have that, number 11 that just says temporary lighting. Would be my recommendation.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. In that case, it just seems like a long time to have temporary lights
Yeah.
up. I don't know. I understand why the change, but also if someone put up temporary lights for a non-specific reason for 60 days.
What happens if a neighbor starts doing a construction and put the light?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. This is the weeds that you get into when you deal with these
Because I
sorts
want
of
to
things.
tell you, in my blog, there are people still with those very bright holiday lights still on.
But they're exempt by this.
I know. But they should be temporary.
Are you a solution in search of a problem here? It just feels like if something were to happen down the line, you address it in a future iteration of this. But can we just get this thing over the finish line? I think we've spent a lot of time in the last meeting and this meeting really splitting hairs over like
semantics.
If it becomes if it's a problem today, then address it head on with exact verbiage, or let's let it happen and then we can address it when it's actually a problem.
Well, I think that's what we're trying to figure out, what the language should be for right now, knowing what we want it to be for right now. But I'm not sure what we want some of this language to be regarding temporary lighting. I don't know what. Obviously, whoever put this together had something in mind for sporadic lighting that's temporary, and they wanted it to be covered. But then, in my mind, they confused it by adding on emergency services to it. And so we're trying to just figure out what it should be. I mean, this is going to be an ordinance. I don't think we should have an ordinance with language that we don't want right now.
So do you know why the 60-day was not continuous, Ben? Was the rationale behind that?
I can't remember.
Okay.
I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing the way it is. Like, I understand that it's kind of constraining, but like constraining temporary lighting to emergency services does not seem like a bad thing to me. But especially because we can't think of any other reason why you would have why you'd have.
But you don't want emergency services limited to 60 days a year.
But then it would be covered under municipal lighting required, regulated, or under permitted by a municipal agency. Number 4.
Number 4.
Yeah.
It's covered there.
If it's through the city or the state. So
I think, in the future, we see there is an issue with that. We can, we can revise the ordinance too. You know what I mean? Like, that one could be another option to see if there is an abuse with that language. You know what I mean? We can revise it. I don't know.
I'd be comfortable keeping that, but I think the other change that you suggested, Shelley, we should do that.
Okay, I don't.
Okay, you remember?
I don't know what emergency services means for temporary lighting, but okay, I'll drop it. Okay, what is this? So I'll move approval of ordinance 2024-0-37 with the modification to section 28.9 paren 2 and replacing the phrase "a manifest injustice" with "an unreasonable hardship," all subject to review by the city attorney.
Second.
Okay, any other comments?
I have a question.
Okay.
So does this still exempts single-family and two-family homes, correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
All those in favor of the ordinance as amended, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Okay. So next we move to item I, Resolution R-229-24, accepting public sidewalk easements in the fourth addition to Terravesa plat. Okay, what is this?
The developer, the contractor put the sidewalk onto private property, the public sidewalk onto private property, so they need to provide an easement for that sidewalk. So that's what this is. It's an easement for a public sidewalk.
Okay.
I move approval of resolution R-229-24.
Second.
All those in favor of the resolution say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. So next we are at the end of the agenda. So we are moving to report from the department. Anything that you want to share with us?
You want me or do you want?
No, I want you first. I want you to tell me where we are with the neighborhood plans and the RFP for the comp plan and all that.
Lots of things. Okay. Yeah, I have a handful of slides if you let me breeze through.
Okay.
Just a little recap of 2024. Of course, we worked on the sustainability plan. The draft plan is complete. Staff is working on prioritizing the 193 action items with different city departments. You laughed. So we're working through that. Okay. We're working through that. The neighborhood plans. The consultants are drafting working on the draft plans right now. Staff has over the holidays prepared some memos. The first memo is a response to the Greenfield petition. And also that memo responds to the request from the Wabisa Wetlands Group. So that memo has in its final edits, administration's taking a look. That memo will respond directly to the petition and to the Wabisa Wetlands Group.
And you share the memo with me on the Plan Commission?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
okay.
Most definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll share that with Plan Commission and the public.
Okay.
And then also, I have drafted a second memo, which is looking at Greenfield sanitary sewer extension. I know that's been a very controversial piece. I've pulled together some information, administration's looking at that, and then the final memo is just looking at how we're wrapping up everything. So, like I said, the consultants are working on the draft plan. We are preparing one more steering committee meeting for each neighborhood plan. One will be in February for South Stoner and probably March for Greenfield.
When is council we have that for both?
Not exactly sure. We hope to refer out both plans here in the first quarter, but they're going to have to go to all the committees and commissions.
So how long is it going to take?
I don't know how long it's going to take.
But when do you think it can come? You know, I need to know at the end of the summer, before the summer, you know what I mean?
Probably the end of the summer.
Oh, my Lord. Okay.
It has to go to all those committees and commissions, yeah.
Okay. More than, okay, yes. Okay, thank you.
We'll have a couple slides just to wrap up for our year. Plan Commission reviewed 66 applications this year. This chart just gives you a quick visual of kind of how 2024 stacks up with the other years. Ag and Rural, they reviewed 5 of those applications. Plus, similar to this evening, you all had another 44 agenda items like those easements and those different kinds of things. Happy to share this with you too. I can send the slides. Yep, but so just kind of a quick recap. This is a recap of mostly Zach's work, because this is all of the applications, agenda items that staff reviewed. Not everything, of course, comes to Plan Commission. Some things just stay at the administrative level, such as those zoning permits, the Article 5s for Smart Code, all of that stays at the administrative level. So 2024 was one of our biggest years, not the top year, but it was one of our bigger years this year in terms of just the number of applications processed. Just give you a little bit of an idea. Some other things that staff worked on this year, in addition to the sustainability plan, the Parks and Open Space plan was finalized. Yay. Teen Center Feasibility Study Phase 2. We, and with your help too, processed 10 minor comp plan amendments. We did that quick update to BH zoning district, the zoning ordinance regarding car washes, you might remember. And staff has also initiated the Healthy Neighborhood Strategic Plan update. So just a quick run through. Staff is working on the request for proposal for the comprehensive plan and zoning ordinance update. We're shooting by the end of the first quarter. Staff also needs to rezone a handful of agricultural parcels. That has to do with our need to, you might remember, we did bring to you last year some updates to the agricultural zoning district. Staff had to put that project on hold because we realized that Dane County's farmland preservation map was different than our parcels zoned exclusive ag or our farmland preservation parcels. So this year we're going to have to sort that out. We've gotten a little grace period from the state, but we do need to get that taken care of coming up this year. I know that the mayor and I have mentioned some zoning changes that we might look at, complete the Healthy Neighborhood Strategic Plan, and of course, staff is also working on the Bike and Ped Plan. So just a quick run through. And what did I miss?
Oh, you know what I missed? Finish the 2 neighborhood plan.
Correct, yes. You are right.
Well, thank you, Diana. I know that you and your team are doing a lot of stuff, and you are like, well, how many people? 3 people?
Extraordinaire Zach.
Yeah, thank you, Zach.
Extraordinaire Zach. But yeah, so
I know that Jessica is helping with the
and
now you
Jessica.
have some,
Yeah, Jessica's really taken the healthy neighborhood programs and run with that.
Yeah.
And then Brad is handling the neighborhood planning and the long range planning.
Yeah, no.
Yep.
So so thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Congratulations, great work.
Yeah,
It's
it's a lot of
incredible.
work. Yeah.
That's all I got.
Okay, thank you, Diana, for the update. Okay, so now we have report from the Ag and Rural Affairs Committee.
Okay, we did have a meeting today, and the candidate running for the District 4 Alder position was there to introduce himself and to find out what the committee is interested in. And, you know, there was a lot of discussion about the loss of ag land to development and how development should go up and not out, and, you know, all the concerns that have been expressed before. But what I thought was really interesting is they emphasize that many in District 4 in the rural areas don't have broadband or access to good internet. So FACTv is something that's not really available to them. And I assume scrolling the website, the city website, is hard also. So it was brought up as an issue of how to best communicate and how they can get information and how they can get feedback. I thought that was interesting. And then the only other thing, Deanna did the same city planning updates, but Deanna also told them that the well ordinance update as to when there can be new private wells approved is still being looked at. And there was frustration about how that has languished. And you might recall that their concern is that wells that are now grandfathered on ag land from having to connect to municipal lines should continue to be grandfathered even if that well has to be replaced or replaced. So the replacement should be grandfathered too. And I think the last iteration we saw of the well ordinance update, that was still under discussion, I think. And their concern is, what if one of these grandfathered wells goes, they have to replace it, and now they're still in no man's land because the ordinance is not in final form yet. So there was frustration about that. But that was it.
So why is the ordinance still, that ordinance is still under review?
Yeah, I think it's just some finalization that Public Works staff needs to do with the city attorney. I think everything's close. It's just working through the final details.
Okay, I'm going to follow up with Valerie.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, and then, thank you, Shelley. And then report from TTC.
Update on some road projects. Cyan Road Phase 2. There's a contractor and an inspection company. Bids are out. Haven't been selected. I believe they're going to go through council soon. Cyan Road Phase 3 has a, I can't remember what it's called, Highway Safety Improvement Grant to deal with that curve in the road. So that is working on that and doing contracting with, I guess, WSDOT to do some construction inspection. And partially, it's 90% federal money, 10% local money. And then Fitchburg Road is also in progress to get reconstructed. It's from Tonto Trail to Nesbitt Road, and if you've ever driven on there, it's a mess. And there's also some stormwater issues. So they're, in addition to redoing the road and creating a roundabout at Lacey and Fitrona, there is going to be work on the stormwater issue simultaneously. And then the Wayland Road paved shoulders are moving forward. They're trying to get easements from residents that live along the road that cross that area. And there is also going to be a temporary roundabout put in at Greenway Cross and Coho, which is going to be a new thing that the Public Works Department might experiment with, temporary road solutions for traffic issues so that you can test out a solution and see if it works before you actually spend the money to put in a permanent roundabout, for example. So that'll be an experiment with that. Try it out there. If we then decide to put in a roundabout permanently, that then could then be moved to another place. So there's extra benefits to having it. And then we looked at the MPO. What does the MPO stand for?
Metropolitan Planning Organization.
Thank you. The Metropolitan Planning Organization, their draft transit development plan, and gave feedback. And there were some really interesting tidbits in there about specialized transportation services. It was just one piece of it about all of these different services that exist for people above and beyond paratransit, which was really interesting. But yeah, that they're still in development, so we provided recommendations on that. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. So, any other announcement? So the announcement is that you're working in 2 meetings for the neighborhood plan. That's going to come soon.
Soon.
My favorite topic.
We're working on it, yeah.
Okay. Anything else? So I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor of adjourning the meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned at 8:16.